Uh-oh.
Not my eye!
Change it back.
No.
Change it back. No!
My eye! That's my eye!
Grab your zombie apocalypse supplies, ladies and gentlemen, as this is your in-ring rundown, and I am the NKK. It's WWE's latest pay-per-view Extreme Rules Horror Show, a name created by someone who smashed their head against the keyboard and said, yeah, that's good enough. But don't be disappointed because WWE does what it does best. Leave you absolutely confused at what's going on and give you a 50% chance of throwing up or going blind by the end of the night. This week on What Cena's Do in the Shadows, the pay-per-view comes to us live from the Performance Center because of frickin' course it does. And of frickin' course we're immediately joined by the experts in the green screen kickoff panel room. Peter Rosenberg, a man that decided tonight was the night to risk showing off his allegiance to the Red Ribbon Army. And this random henchman that I never really learned his name because I'm just not able to compute Peter Rosenberg being the dominant one in some relationship. Henchman number one begins the night by explaining to everyone why he's just not a fan of the classic NES game Pitfall.
I don't like the gators, the snakes, the frogs, anything that comes with it. I'm out.
Apparently no one remembered to remind Big E that he wasn't posing for a clown show when they made this match graphic. But that's okay, our attention is quickly taken away and given to the most devastating trio in all of wrestling. Yes, of course, I'm talking about the now infected Renee Young, now looking like a Harvard scholar Booker T, and the slowly melting JBL.
About this Wyatt swamp match, getting inside the brain.
My best guess is once you've been such a personal asshole to just so many people in your life, your cells just start to outright reject you. Kayla, oh my god, you've had COVID twice, please just stay the fuck home. Braxton is backstage interviewing the 8-time tag team champions, The New Day. A New Day that apparently found a lost and lonely Devon roaming the streets of Jacksonville, and are now eager to accept his advice for their upcoming tables match. But just before I can be excited that one of the tyrants of tables has magically arrived, Big E commits a level 11 felony.
Please access that big girthy brain of yours.
Excuse me, bitch, what did you just say? That's mine. I earned that.
Big
No.
girthy
No.
brain.
Target acquired. We head back to the kickoff panel room where it's nearly time for our first match of the night, Kevin Owens versus not Buddy Murphy.
You are so used to hanging out in the VIP lounge of any club that you're in. I mean, I could see you balling with that beautiful new championship.
Oh. Now, I don't consider myself an expert on too many things, but when it comes to the concept of just being too pasty white to say a phrase without being a complete jackass, this is one of those moments. Get excited, folks, because it's the highly anticipated, the highly built-up kickoff match between Kevin Owens versus a man whose theme music is so generic that default NPCs from WCW's Mayhem are pointing and laughing. Now, Seth Rollins' favorite and only disciple does take control at the beginning of this match, landing a wicked Meteora from the top rope, as well as a stalling brainbuster in which he picked up Kevin Owens from a deadweight stance on the ground. That was actually pretty impressive. Unfortunately for him, KO gets an earworm of Murphy's boring-ass theme music stuck inside his head, sending him off into a blind rage as he actually manages to land a moonsault, followed by two moves that definitely haven't been overused or overplayed over the years, the super kick and the stunner. KO picks up the victory tonight in this match of very mild proportions. The kickoff show ends with JBL once again looking like a very lost and scared pile of silly putty. Should someone go check up on him? Oh, people at home, get ready for a horror show because the main card begins with a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between the New Day and two men who really deserve better. But this isn't just any match, this is a tables match. A match with very strict and rigid rules that have never been bent or screwed with for the sake of a storyline.
You must put your opponent through the table. Can't be accidental.
I can't help but remember this time when a certain big boy put his leg through a certain table and lost to a certain Cody who doesn't have a certain last name anymore. Certainly. The New Day better watch out in this match because according to Corey Graves, Shin and Cesaro know what it takes to put someone through a table. I mean, this is very complex shit here. You need planning, strategies, scaffolding, blueprints. This is real men's work. Cesaro goes for a military press on Kofi Kingston for about 10 seconds straight, but can't really decide what he wants to do, so he just gingerly lets him down before Big E plows his way through the ropes, bringing the Swiss Super Cyborg to the ground. The New Day set up two tables on top of each other because that always ends well before Kofi screams out the same thing he heard Vince McMahon yelling at himself in the mirror this morning.
Don't focus on yourself!
We're nearing the end of this championship bout, and Big E is unfortunately laid out in the corner, as Kofi is hoisted up onto the shoulders of Cesaro, who lays upon the top rope, taking just long enough to make you think that someone's actually gonna make the save, but nope. Cesaro lands the most brutal fucking powerbomb that I've seen in years through 2 sets of tables with no remorse whatsoever, surprisingly picking up the victory here tonight and actually becoming the new tag champs. After the match, Michael Cole does his best impression of Kofi Kingston's back. It's a headbanging lunatic versus that crazy lady who used to be a headbanging lunatic in the next match for the SmackDown Women's Championship here tonight. A match that begins with a hip toss.
Because Bayley takes all of her opponents very
I wasn't lying. Also, I'm jealous. Nikki Cross does the unthinkable by not dominating the first 60% of this match, being thrown into the plexiglass wall by the one who doth dare you to hug her. Catching the wild animal in her ringside apron beaver trap, Bayley keeps control by beating her chesticles without mercy. Unfortunately, she is distracted momentarily by Michael Cole's receding hairline, allowing Nikki to disappear into the shadows and appear on the other side of the ring, already with a grasp on Sasha Banks. Following an attempted crossface and a series of roll-up attempts by both women, Nikki decides that now is the best time to activate her full power form by doing the one thing we all know and love. Yes, of course, I mean stripping. This scares Bayley so greatly that her only option is to flee the scene like a Luigi who accidentally combusts in the wrong direction.
Look at concern in the face of Banks. Oh my God!
That's in the business what we like to call an SD. Sasha appears on the apron because she thought she heard the ref talk shit about blueberries, passing a pair of secret boss knuckles to Bayley, who quickly uses them to strike Nikki Cross directly in the taint. Not only making a certain William Regal sitting in the back very happy, but picking up the victory here tonight and continuing her 989-day reign, or whatever the fuck it is now. We're then treated to a segment of Bray Wyatt working in a dark and mysterious lab wearing a vampire costume in the middle of July. And all I can say about this one is Samoa Joe, aka the physical embodiment of Ganondorf from Twilight Princess, is not amused. The next match of the night is for the United States Championship, a heated rivalry that's been building between MVP and Apollo Crews for weeks, so it's sure to be such a great match, right? Ah yes, here's MVP coming down the ramp to the ring right now. He grabs the mic and... it's over. No, seriously, it's over. They're just gonna pretend that Bobby Lashley's full Nelson was so devastating that Apollo Crews has been out for weeks instead of just remotely adhering to the audience's intelligence by just admitting that he probably has a certain disease that favors the number 19. So let's all just ignore that and head into our next match of the night. The most gruesome match in the history of WWE. Yes, of course, I'm talking about the eye for an eye match. Definitely not a stipulation that has absolutely no chance of legitimately happening. Well, I suppose there was that one time with Vader, but that was just... ugh. Seth brings his own pair of pliers to the ring because that's assuredly an effective tool for trying to gouge someone's eyes out. But don't get disappointed because that's only the beginning of the display of lovely toys that get used in this match. The sharp edge of the announcer's table. That could poke someone's eyes out. A very sharp kendo stick. That could poke someone's eyes out. A very sharp piece of rebar. That could poke someone's eyes out. As you can see, Rey Mysterio's rage is far beyond anything Seth was ready to prepare for, striking him with weapons relentlessly before hitting with all that flippy shit that he's known for. Seth doesn't take kindly to these repeated love taps and responds by slamming him down face first onto the announcer's table. And naturally, even when 2 men are directly in front of him, literally trying to tear each other's eyes out, Samoa Joe reminds us all what's really important in life.
My God, he had a pen in his hand. It's my pen.
Both men go back and forth doing wrestling moves in a match where the objective is to literally fucking stab someone, and then Rey somehow ends up on the top of Rollins' shoulders, gladly willing to introduce his face to the unforgiving kendo stick. Splintering the stick in two, Rey nearly achieves victory in this match that he apparently wanted himself, even stealing Seth's finisher by landing a curb stomp on the outside of the ring. But alas, it was all for naught as Seth is able to recover and land a wicked super kick, allowing him to shove Rey's eye into the steel steps once again, causing this this eyeball to pop out with absolutely no blood or bodily fluids to coincide with it. I mean, naturally, here comes Dominic, right? Right? No? Oh, wait, there he is. I mean, it's not like he couldn't have helped during the match that had no rules or anything. After the match, Seth does his best impression of the WWE writing staff after Vince McMahon told them, yes, this really is the match I want to do. It's Raw Women's Championship match time between the Boss and the Empress. Sasha wants a corporate takeover in the East, and Asuka's not about to let that happen. And you know this time that's extra true because she comes down to the ring joined by the one and only Elton John. No, that is not Kyrie Sane, you are mistaken. As you would expect from both of these gifted athletes, both women go on to counter one another quite well in the beginning of this match. But any momentum Asuka had is quickly put to a halt when Sasha decides to just literally cheat and break her fingers one by one, knowing all along that that reoccurring Street Fighter injury is the key to her victory here. Followed by what I can only assume is another high-level Kama Sutra pose, the Boss seems poised to dominate the bulk of this match, much to the surprise of the zeros of fans in the crowd. The secret uppers laced in Asuka's face paint finally start to kick in, allowing her to take control of the match by stealing what's definitely not just a frickin' code breaker. Unfortunately, she channels her inner Peach just one too many times. Sasha is able to side dodge her ass and lock in the bake statement in the middle of the ring. She reels back hard and
She's got it hooked in dirty.
yo bro, this is my show, let me get to it. You do look great, though. Bayley decides that this match has gone far too long without an interruption, appearing on their apron making goat noises at the ref while the Asuka lock is nearly locked in. This distraction is just enough for Asuka to blow her kiss to the ref in the middle of the ring. Unfortunately for him, though, her saliva is that of like poison ivy, as no normal man could possibly withstand it, blinding him for the rest of the match. Bayley realizes that this is her only opportunity to activate the copycat card, allowing her to apparently just become the ref and apparently do the 3 count for Sasha and pick up the victory, and apparently become the Raw Women's Champion now.
I believe that's sanctionable.
Yeah, just what I'd expect from Gannon. And just in case you've been wondering, you know this is official because the official timekeeper is officially scared shitless by Bayley, as Sasha's theme music officially starts to play, officiating that this match is officially over with and 100% legit. Awesome! For the second time in a row tonight, I have absolutely no idea what happened at the end of this match. For some reason, there's a small child in the middle of the ring announcing the competitors for the next match of the night, that being the WWE Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Dolph Gay Pride Ziggler. A match where Dolph gets to choose any stipulation that he wants and doesn't even have to tell Drew McIntyre beforehand. What kind of match will he choose? A no DQ match? A falls count anywhere match? A bra and panties match? Will he actually be clever and just make a stipulation where if Drew beats him that he loses the title? Nah, something basic or actually logical would just be too silly. So he basically decides that all items are only legal for him and he's unaffected by all other card effects. I mean, rules. Too many card games, man. About 10 minutes into the match, Ziggler finally gets a move, and oh wait, never mind, he's being suplexed on the outside. But luckily for him, Ziggler finally remembers Drew's one true weakness. Yes, his crotchal region, striking him with a powerful blow, leaving him lying in the middle of the ring.
And Dolph Ziggler showing how creative he can be in this environment.
Pretty sure all he did was set up a chair. This match that Dolph Ziggler does way better than anyone had any right to expect nears its end when Drew attempts the Claymore. But to his surprise, Dolph evades this attack and smashes him down on the ground with a chair, allowing him to follow up with probably one of the best elbow drops that I've ever seen in my entire freaking life. Even further followed by a random-ass rock bottom on top of a chair, Dolph nearly picks up victory over the Scottish psychopath with a 2 count. Unable to put him down, Dolph gets frustrated and screams out the same thing that about 50% of WWE fans scream out when they see Vince McMahon on their TVs.
Why won't you die?
Dolph banks on his last resort by summoning the powers of the Heartbreak Kid, but unfortunately he's not available right now. Please try again later.
What is meant to be, will be.
Thanks, Tom. That's fucking deep. So folks, would you like your third helping of what the fuck that I just watched tonight? I know you do. I see you over there waiting for it. Don't worry, it's coming. What's coming? Why, the swamp fight between Braun and Bray, of course. A match that takes you in by the throat, throws you into the money pit, and never lets go. Or, you know, so borderline ridiculous that I'm not even really sure how I'm supposed to make fun of it. But let's try anyways. We meet them both at the Wyatt compound as Braun arrives here, clearly ready to fix the cable. I'm sure you can imagine where it goes from here.
He fixes the cable?
I've been waiting so long to do that. Apparently the Wyatt compound is an environment so fucked up that has attracted the likes of vultures, bloodthirsty rabbits, ravenous warhogs, and Triple H with his trusty shovel. No, wait, my mistake, it's actually Doppelbraun, his form from the past, here to scare him into actually believing he never lost all that weight. So naturally, without warning or explanation, we magically appear in the shed where Braun is very upset sitting in a chair because Bray promised that he was gonna get to be the Dom this time.
Look, Daddy, I got my wings back.
Upset by Bray's inability to stop switching roles, Braun refuses to accept the Snake's venom and join the Wyatt family again because he knows that this must be a fake, as the real Jake the Snake is in AEW right now, being transported away to this random field where he must instantly train against these random grunt enemies to level up for the final battle. Even defeating the mini-boss by coaxing it into the fire, Braun finally reaches level 30 and learns Whirlwind. And apparently we're just gonna ignore the fact that he probably just burned a man to death. But without warning, Sister Abigail appears and reveals herself to have been Alexa Bliss all along, coaxing him in with a love spell and leaving him vulnerable to Bray's sneak attack. Braun says, "How dare you distract him with big blonde boobies," and slams him onto the dilapidated boat that lays in the lake of reincarnation. He may have moved there a bit. As we near the end of this whatever the hell it is, both men jump into what I can only assume is the hot tub time machine, causing Bray to revert back to his fiend form before the pandemic started, thus causing Braun to seemingly disappear completely, finishing the pay-per-view, and now ending the 3-course meal known as I still don't know what the hell I just watched. Well, that's it for this week's rundown. I want to thank you all for watching. Be sure to hit that like and hit that sub and leave a comment telling me if you're as goddamn confused after all this as I am. Tune in next week where I promise to make an episode Also read the disclaimer. And of course a shout out to all my patrons. Another lockdown may be coming, ladies and gentlemen, so I'll be sure to give you plenty of content to throw money at. I mean your attention at. And this week's patron highlight goes out to Annetta. I met her recently in all my Yu-Gi-Oh! Wheeling and dealing, and she's easily one of the coolest and nicest people that I've met doing so. She does the kind of business that I hope to be doing in about a year or so, can't lie. But she has a YouTube that's just getting started into openings and probably plenty more that I have no clue about, so give her a look-see and, you know, help her get to 100 subs. Oh yeah. This has been the Man from Earth. With all the girth. Telling you to be the character you know you're worth. See you. No wait, my mistake. It's actually Doppelbraun. Doppelbraun. Or you know, so borderline really. Oh you know, and are now eager to. Get excited, folks, because it's the. Get excited, folks, because before Biggie plows his way through the ropes, before Biggie even further, passing a Sasha wants a corporate takeover in the East, and Asuka's not about allowing her to apparently just become the ref and apparently do the allowing her to apparently just become the ref and apparently do the 3 count.